They dare to tamper with the forces of creation?
Yes, they dare. And we have got to dare to stop them.
The Daleks have invaded the Earth. Don't miss Doctor Who, the new science fiction series.
Party in sharp 9. Why?
Hey everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of Doctor Who and Mr. Drew. It's your old time traveling companion, Jonas Drew here, and we've come to a story that I hold near and dear to my heart. In all honesty, I'm not a big fan of the Daleks. In fact, I'm one of those of the opinion that most Dalek stories are pretty crap and only exist to fulfill some sort of contractual agreement between the BBC and Terry Nation's estate, allowing for the continuation of Dalek merchandise. And that's even more apparent in the new series, to be perfectly honest, because the only good Dalek story is Rob Shearman's Dalek from the Christopher Eccleston era. And then there's the Dalek invasion of Earth. Now, this was first introduced in the original series, the Daleks themselves. They were first introduced in the first series. We see the alien Daleks in their homeworld of Skaro. It looked as though it was all over for them at the end of their 7-part story, but they proved so successful, it was felt that a follow-up was needed. Now, how do you do that? How do you top something like what they did with that epic 7-parter? Well, you have them invade Earth. Now, one of the things that many fans love about the series was that, as John Pertwee once said, you could find a Yeti sitting on your loo, having the alien among the normal. Here we have the Daleks invading an Earth in the not-too-distant future of the planet, so that the London backdrop can be used and yet still not interfere much with the current-day mores. The Dalek Invasion of Earth is a 6-part story. It was written by Terry Nation and directed by Richard Martin. It aired from November 21st to December 26th, 1964. The episodes are World's End, The Daleks, Day of Reckoning, The End of Tomorrow, The Walking Ally, and Flashpoint. And no, we don't mean the Flash TV series or comic book. Now, what I love about this one specifically is that I feel not a moment is wasted in this story. Many of the more than 4-part stories suffer very much from having too much time and not enough story. This is not the case here. Right from the start with the first episode, it's pretty much a 4 main character story in that first part. We see them exploring their surroundings in what is clearly a bombed out section of London. And it leads to the reveal, just like we saw in the original Dalek story, as the Dalek comes walking out of the water. What follows is an epic journey as the 4 are separated and have to work their way to finding each other while avoiding the Daleks and their Robomen. There are many highlights from the story, including barbers ramming a fire truck into some Daleks, the Doctor joining the fray in a fight in the sewers, and the budding romance of Susan and David. Yes, I said it. I'm fine with the romance. I don't see any problem with it. I think it was handled a lot better than what we'll see later on with Leela and her romance with that guard whose name I can't even remember, because, again, it made no sense. My only quibble with the whole thing is, and I'm with many fans on this, how old is Susan? If she's really the equivalent of a 16-year-old, this is creepy, especially with the Doctor letting her go at the end. But in terms of Susan wanting to settle down and falling for David, I thought it was handled nicely throughout the whole run of the story. And of course, there's the ending. The very ending with the famous speech. The first of many the Doctor would give. It's so beautiful. It's why, actually, in some ways, I have a problem with David Bradley's performance of the Doctor in the Adventure in Time and Space. He's got the look, but I don't think he really ever captures Hartnell's intensity, his beauty, as being the Doctor. It's a little flat-noted, and I'm a little hesitant about how he's going to handle it in the final Peter Capaldi story coming up. My only other quibble is the Daleks' plan. I don't think it was well explained in the TV version what exactly they were trying to do. But when we get the movie version down the line, we'll find that David Whittaker does do a better job of smoothing it out and explaining it more. It's all ridiculous, but at least, and I know this is going to sound weird, it makes sense. Overall, this is really a sight to behold and well worth a good sit down to view and take in everything that is done in this story. It ranks high in my rankings of episodes. In fact, I consider it my second favorite at the moment behind Marco Polo. So where does that put us in the rankings? Well, we've got Marco Polo first still, and I really wish the BBC would get around to animating it and making it available, because it's even the reconstruction is a beauty to behold. Second comes Dalek Invasion of Earth. Third comes the Daleks. Fourth comes the Aztecs. Fifth, the Unearthly Child and Unearthly Child. Sixth, the Reign of Terror. 7, Edge of Destruction. 8, Planet of Giants. 9, the Keys of Marinus. And finally, 10 of the Sensorites. Now, what do you think of my rankings? Where do you think of the stories we've done so far? I know I haven't been around much the last couple of months to do one of these, and I'm hoping now to actually get a bunch done during the month of August, since I'm off from school, and then sort of settle back into a regular routine. I have been watching, though, and taking notes. I'm actually almost at the end of Patrick Troughton's run, so it's another reason I would like to get this going here. Now, next time, Susan is gone, and the Doctor appears lost. But like we learned during Matt Smith's time, I think it was anyway during Matt Smith's time, that the TARDIS doesn't always take you where you want to go, but where you need to go. So it lands them on a planet where the survivors of a ship crash struggle against a monster called Coquillion in the rescue. So, folks, make sure you're listening to further episodes of Doctor Who and Mr. Drew. Make sure you're checking out all the great shows here on the Chronic Rift Network. And until next time, folks, thank you so much for listening. Take care, everybody.
Grandfather! Listen, Susan, please. I've double-locked the doors. You can't get in. Now move back, child, where I can see you. During all the years, I've been taking care of you. You, in return, have been taking care of me.
Grandfather, I belong with you.
Not any longer, Susan. You're still my grandchild, and always will be. But now, you're a woman, too. I want you to belong somewhere, to have roots of your own. With David, you'll be able to find those roots and live normally like any woman should do. Believe me, my dear, your future lies with David, and not with a silly old buffer like me. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Goodbye, Susan. Goodbye, my dear.
He knew you could never leave him.